Yeah, how red I am from red. Yeah.
Good on you. Joanna, I think you were one of the people that joined in on the Marco Nunez call.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah, that was great. I'm following him on his various platforms now. Mm-hmm.
Good. It was a really good call. I was driving, so I wasn't able to talk very much on it, but I thought it was a great listen for sure. It was a really good podcast. I'm sorry, Zoom call, not podcast. All right, guys.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you, Lindsay.
Nice to see you. We missed you last week.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had no good excuse except I forgot.
Well, we're glad you're here this week.
Good, thanks. Good to be here. Good to see you.
He could have came up with a better reason, right? Like he had a whole week to be like, what am I going to say? Like, I forgot.
Exactly. I had a heart attack. Nothing. I got nothing.
We're glad you're back. All right, guys. So let's do it. I think we're giving people enough time to jump in. Whoop. Wrong button. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull out our chart from last week. We have a good topic in today. We want to have we wish we had more than an hour, but we're going to go ahead and work with what we have. Share screen. Perfect. There we go. All right, so here we go. Can you guys see the Google Sheet?
Yep.
We are on nutrition. I'm going to go ahead. So most of you put in your Monday check-in. Good on you. If you didn't, don't worry about it. We'll try and do this in today just because these are the scores we're taking in all the way through. So going back on your hydration, just a quick recap. You guys did pretty well overall. We have a lot of 5s. We have a 3.5 here. Was there improvement on that one, Joanna? On the hydration? Oh, sorry, we can't hear you, Joanna, and I can't unmute you.
Sorry. Yeah, I kind of went back and forth between 3.5 and 4, 3.5 and 4.
Great. All right. So our challenge for this week, guys, we all had different ones, right? Or small change. Gary, how did it go with eating those baked goods? Were we successful? Was that a fail? How did that go?
No, it was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Perfect.
Just putting it into the fridge. I got myself down to 1 a day until they were gone, and I just forgot about it till I really wanted it later in the day. So it was good.
There we go. All right, it works.
It worked.
Joanna, aware of indulging. We have a few of you that are intermittent fasting. Elijah texted me, said he was going to miss today. Dana also, how did that go? I think all 3 of you guys had the same goal to slow down on the snacking and the indulging. How did that go?
No, good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead, Dana.
I just, changed my window a little bit. So I ended up eating dinner a little bit later, and that seemed to really help. And then it actually helped too, because then I could start eating a little sooner the next day instead of waiting till like 12:30 on
Right.
my fasting days. So overall, everything went great. And Mother's Day, and kind of this weekend was a little bit tough, because we got some takeout food and stuff like that. But starting Monday, it was back to normal. So everything's good.
All right, but overall, there was improvement.
Oh yes,
Perfect.
for sure.
All right. All right, and then we had Jansen with the veggies. How did we do with the veggies, Jansen? Were we able to put some in there for your food?
Part, yes. But there was like a meal in there or two that I was like, eh.
Okay, but there was some improvement, right? Remember, it's small. Perfect. Okay. All right. We have healthier portion snacks for Alicia. How did that go, Alicia? Was there improvement?
Yes, I did not finish a whole bag of anything. So.
Okay, here we go. Now you have snacks for like this following 2 days, 3 days. You didn't eat all of them in one sitting. Sarah is not here with us right now. Monica, you're baking and comfort eating. How is that going?
So I baked only once this week, and
Okay.
I gave most of it away. So that was really good.
And that still
And
made
I
you feel
did-
good.
Yeah, and I still I started cooking with a lot more like veggies and stuff like that, so that worked.
Perfect. I love it. All right. And then Lindsay, how did it go with cutting off the snacks post lunch?
Well, I would like to say I'm still a 3. I definitely was much more aware. And I think the problem was I have like good days and then I have a bad day. Like, so I would like it to be consistent. So I'll be
Mhm.
like, I'm killing it today. And then the next day,
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Well, I like where Lindsay went with that because she went with the good day, bad day, right? And normally what happens is we tend to base a lot of our eating on how we're feeling, on what's going on throughout the days, what the factors may be. So taking off of Lindsay's input there, we're going to go to challenge 2 really quickly. I know some of you put in the almonds for sleep promoting bedtime snacks. So some of us tend to struggle with those snacks before bedtime, right? Or post lunch, and we end up eating a whole bag. Most of you put in here almonds and chamomile tea. How did that go for you guys? Was it okay? Was it soothing? Was it a good way to kind of sub out the snacks before bed? Great, awesome. I know Chester put it in here. I have Alicia, Jansen, and Lindsay with the almonds, and then Monica with the chamomile tea. Awesome. The last challenge for this past week wasn't necessarily a physical, to-do challenge. It was more of a mental challenge of being aware of you're mindful of your eating, right? Mindless and mindful eating. Are you hungry? Why are you eating? Are you hungry? Are you feeling some sort of way? Are you using these snacks or these foods to mitigate whatever it is you're feeling or to kind of cover up or use it as a stress relief? So being aware, this also will take us into our next pillar, which will be the yellow tab now. We are at mental health, okay? So I'm gonna very quickly go over, I'll call your name. We're gonna go ahead and bring in our scores for this week. Hydration on a 1 to 5, go ahead and tell me where you're at. And then I'll ask you nutrition. And then we're gonna go for mental health. And then we're gonna go ahead and take off for our top for the day for mental health. Okay, so Gary, go ahead and give me your hydration score for day 15.
5.
A 5. Yay. What about nutrition, Gary?
I'm gonna say 4.
Perfect. Love it. What about mental health? We haven't talked about it yet, but just off of where your personal standpoint, where do you feel you are?
3.
Awesome. Well, not awesome, but thank you for the answer. Joanna, we'll get back to it. Joanna, hydration.
3.5 today.
3.5 for hydration. All right. What about nutrition?
4.5.
Awesome. And what about mental health?
Probably 3.5.
3.5. Okay. Chester, let's go to nutrition for today.
Across the board, 4-4-3.
Perfect.
No, 4-4-3.
Yes. All right. I messed up. 4-4-3. Awesome. All right. Tony, hydration for day 15.
Yeah, hydration is 5. I'm pretty consistent there.
All right. What about nutrition?
The nutrition, 2 last week.
Woo. Okay. And what about mental health for day 15?
Mental health, I'd say 3.
Here we go. All right. Jansen, nutrition for day 15. I'm sorry, hydration.
5.
5. Nutrition
4.5.
and mental health.
3.5.
I love how you guys get high pitched at the end. Alicia, hydration,
4.
nutrition,
Say like 3.
and mental health.
Maybe like, yeah, I'd say like a 3, 2.
Okay. Dana, hydration. Oh, I can't hear you, Dana. Sorry, I think you're muted. Let me unmute. Oh, I can't. That's odd.
Okay, 4 for hydration.
Yes.
Food is a 5, and mental health 3.
There we go. Okay. Monica, hydration.
That would be a 3.5.
Nutrition
3.
and mental health.
3.5.
Lindsay, hydration,
4,
nutrition,
3,
and mental health.
probably 4.
Awesome. All right. So here we are at our day 15, and we're going to go ahead and take off with this pillar. So we're focusing on mental health this week, or mental wellness. We did a recap on how far we've come. We're trying to bring everything we've done the first 2 weeks into our 3rd week. And again, last challenge was being aware of how we are dealing with our emotions and how we're bringing that into our nutrition, okay? Going from our nutrition, being mindful, okay? Remember, we did speak on awareness being a key factor throughout the entire challenge. So I'm going to allow Paul to jump in here. We're gonna go ahead and jump into our mental health, mental wellness pillar, and we're gonna guide you guys through what we have to help you guys or kind of lead you in the right direction, again, for small changes for better and long-term goals. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. And Paul, you're ready to go.
Good morning, everybody that I haven't had the opportunity to say good morning to. Give me 1 second to update this on presenter mode. So, everybody see the screen? Awesome.
Yes, I see it. Everybody else see it?
Okay.
Yes.
Mental wellness. We're talking about the WHO a lot lately with COVID-19. And, you know, according to them, mental wellness is defined as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. From what we're talking about on all of our 5 pillars, this comes back in a lot of sense to the stresses, which is nutrition, eating, we say, the hydration, the exercise, our sleep capabilities, and how we find balance in our life. So taking our time and really figuring out what's going on. The new reality to what we're doing, we're at home. We've created a new normalcy. We're out of the stage of reactionary of holy crap, this happened. We've started month 3 today. You know, change has happened. Change is going to happen again soon. We don't know when, but when we're able to go back into our normal life, what is going to change? It's not going to be the same as what it was 3 months ago. We will have new responsibilities. We will have new expectations. We will have to understand how others are going to react to us, because going in for a normal hug is not going to be a new norm. We're going to have to reevaluate how we say hi to people, how we engage, and what we do. So why are we here? The why. We always go back to the why. What, in your sense, is why you're on this wellness challenge? We're here to encourage you to figure out what it is that you can control and focus on those things. There's a lot of things when you talk about Maslow's hierarchies and those pieces where there's necessity, there's thoughts, there's dreams, and where are you in these capacities? So what motivates you? Is it necessity? Is it your desires, or is it your dreams? And desires and dreams can be very like mixed hand in hand. Where I would say on that is a dream is a big piece, and a desire is something that you can go and create and work towards that's attainable in a fairly easy, tangible manner. And so where are you right now? Early on in months like week 1 or 2, month 1, a lot of this was necessity. As parents trying to figure out how to be a teacher, along with running your own like day-to-day job and your own health and fitness. It can be your family, your nutrition changes. If you go out to eat a lot and all of a sudden you can't go and have those meals, your nutrition changed dramatically. Hydration, we're sitting at home instead of at an office setting. Some of you, there's positives to that where you have access to water all day. Others don't have that access at their normal day job. Sleep, are you changing the way you're sleeping because of the fact you can sleep in or stay up later and watch one extra movie? Our relaxation and meditation has changed, and our exercise. You are no longer going someplace to do these things. You are doing them at home and finding your safe environment. The thoughts and desires tab is where, what are you doing to create something that you want or that you want to continue? These are the small habits. It may be a new job. These are the bigger ones, but you're in a place right now that change has happened. You be in better shape is one that we're all talking about. That's why we're on this challenge. The sleeping better. Giving up a habit. Is there a habit that you're currently doing that you want to give up at some point? Starting a habit or a new routine. A lot of you have really found a way to make exercise consistent on the Zoom calls. I'm grateful for it. And I hope that it's something that you've been able to learn. I can do this at home. I don't always have to be at the gym to do it. And I can find a safe place for exercise. It may be that you want to donate money or time to somebody or some cause that's very important, but you haven't found that like niche. And the other one is making more money. During this time, a lot of us are out of our normal income, or we're looking for ways to create a new norm. And then it goes to dreams. What are those dreams that are not instantaneous, that you could go and make a change and a decision that will start to create those near spontaneous ideas and make them into something if you put some energy into it? Buying a house, starting that new job could take more work because you got to pick out what you want to do. And so clarifying what it is so that the dream is where you're working towards. Having a partner, having children, vacations, all those things that we don't currently have or do in some capacity. The process works if you make small decisions daily. We're already working on that day in and day out. You guys have seen some of these good growth habits. The catch-22 though is to get to step 2, you got to block time out each day to do those. So if having almonds or having chamomile tea before you go to bed, you need to block time out and plan. What time is that going to be? If it's exercise, what time are you going to work out? We all know Tony's a staple at 8:30 a.m. And he has proven that it doesn't matter if he's here or at home, he will show up at 8:30 a.m. and lead by example. Step 3 is where you are living and working that into your priority day in and day out. So where are you at on the step for each of these levels? And where can you continue to work to block time out each day so that it turns into your priority instead of a good idea? The hierarchy, the fun part of what we're talking about. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. So the physiological, the breathing, so food, hydration, sleep. That is the basis for what we need. That's on the right, that's Maslow. On the left is CrossFit's hierarchy. This is how CrossFit came about years ago and what they've talked about. If you see, nutrition is our base. It's the biggest. So we're all talking about taking small little things. The reality is that there are so many things on this base to hold up our house that we need to find out how to break those into smaller little groups. And then as you work up from nutrition, health, and all that, goes into the exercise, how you start moving, how you relate with those things. And then to top that off is where that self-esteem comes, the confidence, the mental wellness we're talking about today is more of a result than it is something that you can work on specifically and just be like, I'm going to be mentally healthy. Well, there's got to be other avenues. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the 5 pieces of what we've been working on for our pillars. Take a look at this. If you have a pen and paper, I would greatly appreciate you write it down. If you're sunbathing like Tony, maybe you can type it up or put it in the chat. We put in the chat on a call I did the other day. That worked really good. So if you can, just put in the chat so you have some definition. Which one of these, hydration, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and mental wellness, is the most important for you currently? Which one makes you successful? We talked about that early on. If you could throw that in the chat, we will add to that shortly. And Deely, if you could just announce what they are as people come through.
So, yes, so whichever one is your balance pillar, the one that you think it's like the main one for you, we have Lindsay here, she says exercise. Joanna says nutrition. Monica says sleep. Chester, nutrition. Alicia, exercise. Gary also says exercise. Okay. Sleep for Jansen. Awesome. This is what we got so far.
Okay. So now that you know what the one is that is your perspective of the most important for you to be successful, we're going to the next stage of, I want you to rank hydration, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and mental wellness into a 1 to 10 where you're at currently. So Coach D. Lee went through the 3 of them already, but are you drinking plenty of water? Hydration, a lot of you already have a 5. We're staying off of a scale of 10. Nutrition, are you eating the proper portions and quality foods? 3, how active are you daily? 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting each night? 7 to 8 is ideal. And mental wellness, do you make time for yourself? Once you write, I highly encourage you write those out. If you put them in your mind, they will change almost instantly when we go on to the next piece and I start asking you some more detailed questions. Give me a thumbs up once you.
Hey, Paul, and this is like how well we think we're doing with each one, or how much we value it and go to it. Like I cared more about nutrition.
How well you're doing. How well you're doing. Your assessment.
Very similar to what we did at the beginning, except now we are ranking it from 1 to 10. We're ranking all of them from 1 to 10. And this is going to take us into the next exercise based on that base pillar you chose, or that you feel is your balance pillar.
Thumbs up once you're done so I can read. Thanks, Chester. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Monica. Alicia, yes. Thank you. Gary, you're good? Okay, Dana? Thumbs up. Jansen? Good. Tony? Okay, perfect. All right, so next portion. What we're doing here is assessing your pillar. So on the first one, we talked about most needed. So which one do you feel is your balancing pillar? Which one is it that settles all the others in place? And this is the one that you should settle your daily attention to. And it's going to be your confidence builder. When you do this, others follow through. Lindsay, can I use you as an example?
Sure.
Lindsay. Lindsay, are you there?
Yes, you can use me.
Okay, perfect. So Lindsay went through this earlier this week, and hers was, what was your pillar?
Mine was exercise.
What was your pillar on Monday?
The one I want to work on?
No, what was your pillar on Monday night when we went through this that you said was your most needed?
Nutrition.
Nutrition. And what is it today?
Nutrition.
What did you type in the box?
Exercise.
Exercise.
So she has changed it. Okay, there is perception and there is reality. And perception is nutrition is hers. But the reality is that exercise is what makes the other things click for Lindsay. So as you go through this, nutrition and how it looks for her nutrition was like a 3 or 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
On Monday, okay? And so assessing her pillars allows you to reflect on the current state. Where are you right now? Where are you on all 5 of these? It forces you after the assessment to go and rate them and go, oh, wow, okay. It shows how you feel what you're doing and where you're doing, and it clarifies where you can improve. So who here has their most needed or their one that they wrote down in the chat as their highest pillar of success right now in their box? So Lindsay, as the example, exercise, is that her highest point of success? Joanna?
Yeah, I put my nutrition as the one I'm doing best at, and that's the one that I said before when I can't even remember what we were answering when we picked one. It was the one we liked the best that I picked it.
It's the one you need most.
Oh, for
What's
the one I
you
need
most.
Oh, the one I need most. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm tossed up between exercise and mental health. I know you said mental can just be bolstered by getting everything else sorted, I think is what you said. But I know when I do things like journaling and sitting, meditation, there's different things I can do that help me. So I kind of feel like I could use some more journaling right now, and maybe I want to focus on that.
Great. So what we're channeling right now is the fact that for you, yours is nutrition. And when you eat well, these other ones, you are allowing yourself time to do the other ones like journaling. Or is it that when you do your journaling, you make time for nutrition?
Maybe I misunderstood. Nutrition is like, I'm getting a freaking 100%. Like it's easy for me. I do very well with my food. I'm like, I don't have to work that hard on it.
So,
yeah. So maybe I misunderstood.
So that's most likely your balancer. Okay. You're good at it. Okay. When you're good at it, you have confidence. It doesn't betray you. You are solid on nutrition. Yeah. So that is going to be the one that when that goes off a little bit, everything else follows. So when your nutrition gets tired, your exercise gets tired, your journaling goes down. But if your nutrition's on point, then you will follow suit and do the other things better. So example, you're doing nutrition great, and then you said you could journal better. Now you can add that in because your nutrition is on point. Does anybody else have a different perception now that they've put their place in the chat and what they're actually working on and what they need to work on? Delia, I think it's time for you to go to the next part then.
All right.
Good job, everybody.
All right, guys. So talking again on picking up where Paul left off with perception and reality. Okay, so at the beginning of the challenge, we briefly talked about all these pillars and where we felt we were at, right? So maybe at the beginning, some of you were like, I'm at a 3 or 2 in mental health, and I'm at a 4 in exercise. But we have to learn how to differentiate the reality from the perspective. Okay, so now we're asking you guys to look at these pillars from 2 different ways, reality and perspective. And it's pretty much how you're looking at how these pillars are. It's like Joanna was saying, am I choosing the one I really like, or am I choosing the one, sorry, my mailman's talking to me. Are you choosing the one that you really like, or am I choosing the one where I'm struggling? And that's reality, and then that's perception, if you really think about it. I'm going to use myself as an example. For me, I feel like my strongest one, or the one that I need most help in, is mental health, right? I feel like I'm constantly just like, just a roller coaster, going from a 2 to like a 4, and then I'm back down to a 1 one day, and I'm just all over the place. And I'm thinking that one of my strongest ones where I'm like, it's probably exercise. But if I'm real, if I'm looking at reality and I'm looking at perspective, the reality is that I feel that exercise I do pretty well at. But ask me how many times I've worked out. I think I've worked out not a single day this week.
Dealy.
Yes. Give it to me, girl. Tell me about myself.
My goodness.
Right? but I'm here saying that that's probably the one that I'm not focused on as much, that my strong one or the one that I need help is mental health. And that's where the perspective comes in, because I'm like, well, I need to be working on mental health, because that's where I need help. The thing is that I'm not going to be able to get my mental health better if I'm not being real with the actual situation. I need to work out. If I don't work out, my mental health is not going to get any better. If I don't fix my nutrition, right, my mental health is not going to get any better. So the perspective here is that we're talking about is whichever pillar you feel is your balancer is not going to be your balancer if all the others are not aligned. Okay, and that's perspective. Look at your reality. Our reality right now has shifted from what we were 3 months ago. You were able to go to the gym. You had a routine. You were able to go, work, wake up, work, or wake up, go to the gym, work, go back home, family time. Everything was a perfect dynamic, or as best as it could be. Now it's not. So all of these pillars just kind of like whammed and just shifted, and everything gets thrown off. So the reality is a new reality. Therefore, you need a new perspective. So stopping to really think about what it is that you're really good at and what it is that you really need help in versus doing it the other way around, because that will happen a lot. These pillars shift so much. It's like Paul and Lindsay talking about, oh, it's changed. Now it's different, right? It's going to continue to happen. So having that ability to use that perspective and that reality and looking at things for what they are and understanding them. Now I know my goal for this week is getting back to working out, because when I work out, I'm watching what I'm eating. And if I'm watching what I'm eating, I'm going to feel good at the end of the day. And I know that if I'm feeling good at the end of the day, I need to sleep so that the next day I can do it all over again. So you see how everything falls into place? And it's okay if you all have a different pillar. The bottom line here is that pointing the perspective and the reality is going to help you align them so much better versus picking one and focusing on one. We ask you guys to rank them because we want you guys to see where you're at. But the bottom line here is that all 5 matter. And whichever one you choose, the other 4 have to support it. It is not just focusing on that one pillar you're struggling with. Okay, so keep that in mind. Big keyword awareness with everything that you're doing. It's a lot of self-talk, a lot of like, you know, okay, question yourself with everything that you're doing and why you're doing it. Looking at your scores for this week on mental health, there's a lot of 3s. And I think that we're all at those 3s because we're not focusing on the reality. Okay, so the exercise for today is going to be for you guys to really think about those pillars. Think about, okay, am I focused on the right one? Is my balance pillar really my balance pillar? And what am I going to do to shift the other 4 and how you can do that? Paul and I were also talking on, which I was surprised that he brought up, but I very, very much appreciate it. And he's going to touch base on those a little down the line, but I'm going to bring it up now because I want you to get your head going on love languages. Okay, there's 5 love languages. Some of you, and it almost seems like all the women are like, yeah, yeah. And then I'm like, what? We're going to go over them. Okay, but love languages apply to everything. And I want to remind you that love languages aren't just about you projecting or you working on the love languages, but it's also on how you receive them. And the love languages that you give are different from the love languages that you like to receive. So that's also different, reality and perspective. And Paul is going to go over that in just a second because that is very important for mental health. It's important for you guys and for the people that you're surrounded with. We are in a lockdown right now, pretty much. We're surrounded by, you know, I'm surrounded by my son. That's all I get to see pretty much. And when I can sneak out a visit with my mom, right? Some of you only get to see your significant other and being able to find the balance within that as well. So we're going to go back just really quickly because I know some of you guys struggle with putting in the tabs, and I want to make sure that we do this one together like we do every week. So I'm going to quickly share the Google Sheet one more time, and I'm going to ask you, oh, let me see, struggle bus here, for your first challenge. How are you going to make a small change? Okay. We have a 3, Gary's 3 point, yeah, everybody's at a 3. Lindsay seems to be our toughest one here with mental health. Good on you, girl. But Lindsay, we've even gone back and forth talking about how mental health affects your food, right? How you're setting your food based on, maybe I'm sad today, maybe I'm really happy today, whatever it is, it just pillars. So you might feel that your mental health is at a 4, right? Is that the reality or is that the perspective? And I'm just gonna let you think about that, okay? All right, so let's go to challenge 1 for the week. How will I make a small change? I wanna give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. This one in particular is just so big. Like with food and nutrition, it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to put my brownies in the fridge. For hydration, I'm going to put the water closer to me. But how do you do that for mental health? How do you do it? I'm gonna let Paul, so let's think on it, guys, okay? So Paul, I'm gonna let you go ahead and jump on. I might have to stop sharing again, guys. the options that we can give them or help them for this challenge 1. Do you want to put that up? There we go. So Paul's going to go over that. It's going to be very quick just to give you guys a few ideas on how to do it. Again, remember guys, it's small changes. He's going to give you about 5 of them. You don't have to do all 5. Pick one, like we've been doing every week, something that you feel is going to be attainable for you, and we'll go from there. We'll go back to the Google Sheet and I'll type it in for you. And it doesn't have to be any of those. If any of you have anything different, please choose what you feel you need and we'll put it in. Okay, so go for it, Paul.
All right, so some recommendations on planning. When you're going through this with the mental health goal and any of this, we have so much noise going on in our head. We have so many influencers. If it's checking Instagram and we read what somebody else wants or what they think, we're like, oh, that's a good idea. Write down the things that you want so that you have some clarity. I know a lot of you have Panda planners. Use them to your advantage, but here's the 7 quick little things to remind yourself. First, spend 10 minutes after this call sometime today and just set a timer and just write everything on your mind. This is just kind of one of those mind blows. You blow everything out of the water, you put it on paper so that you can read it and see it. And if it's on there, there's some importance because it's in your Rolodex of needs. Then go through and review what are actual goals or necessities, and then what are the dreams. So you can move those and which ones can you knock off first, and then which ones are you going to work on later. So that's creating the priority for the now. The now are the ones that you can accomplish really quick to give yourself a little bit of confidence, to give yourself a little bit of that, like, I can do this. Share them with a friend or family or partner. This is the accountability part that's going to go into love languages later, and also keeps you in a good place of saying like, hey, I shared it, I got to get through with it. And then write out a process that states the things you need to do to reach the goal. It could be 3, it could be 10. I need to wake up at 6:30 a.m. every morning and spend 10 minutes on my journal. I need to spend 5 minutes planning my day and writing out what is going to get done so I can accomplish the things that need to be done. And then write an affirmation. An affirmation is something that's going to tell you a confirmation, a vote of confidence in you. I write out my daily plan the night before and I follow it the day of. And then start following the process. It's up to you. You can do all of the other ones of like good plan, good intention, but life's too busy. Oh my gosh, I got a phone call, I had to take it and I had to jump off and do this. We all have different issues or blocks in our life. Picking and choosing what's a mental block, what's a physical block, and addressing them within thyself to say, okay, I need to fix this or be more aware of it. To build on the things that I really want. Action goals. These are the things that we're working on right now. They're short-term, guys. They are small. They allow you to confirm the process is working or that it's not. When it works, it gives you an internal high. And that's, again, where that love language comes into how are you going to celebrate these internal highs. And then it also gives you a time to reflect, like what we just did on the 5 questions of where you're at with the measurements, what Dee's been asking, you're reflecting on it. You're going to give her what you want to work on this week. And this is that place where you're reflecting and thinking, what is it that can make my week a little bit better? And then you realign and you refocus on the things that you're working on. Some ways to stay motivated. One of our biggest challenges is what makes me excited, what gets me to do it. So a daily challenge, that's that affirmation or one goal. What do you want to do today? There's an awesome web browser out there. It's Momentum. And what it says is, what's your goal for today? And you type it in and then it posts it every time you open up a window. It may be something to take a look at. The second thing, say it out loud. Say what motivates you out loud. If you say it, it will start becoming reality. Find like-minded people. You guys are on this wellness challenge in a community that's looking for the same thing you are. Use each other. Be supportive. In the gym, many of us are on these. Some are a little bit further along than the rest of us. Take advantage and ask them for support. Be curious. Learn. Don't put this on somebody else. This is your story. Your chance to go research, develop, and create who you are and what you want to do with what you're doing. Create that internal fire. What is it that's going to make you fired up? Is there a vacation you're going to go on this fall? Is there you want to go back to the gym looking better than when you started? Is it that you're stuck at home and so you want to create more meals? Be it as it is, find what it is that makes you fire. And then organize. If you organize, other things start to follow suit. Like throwing all your stuff out and then organizing everything back into a place. It's a process. It creates clarity and confidence for you. Now, accountability planning, you need to use something that gives you a chance to be successful. And this is where we talked about the 5 love languages. Where are you? Words of affirmation, acts of service. Do you like receiving or giving gifts? The quality time or physical touch? What makes you tick? And when you hit a goal, it's when I hit this goal, I get this. Most often, it's going to be something in these 5 that you click that you're like, yes, I am going to go do this, or I get this because I got this accomplished. What does that successful look like for you? And then what's the accountability factor if you aren't getting to it or if you don't? If I don't do this, I lose out on this, or I need to do this. It doesn't have to be I lose. It may be that I need to spend more time doing this. And so finding what it is and then how you can relate it to a success. We already know your love language makes you tick and builds fire. So when you do that, if you get something for it, I heard somebody the other on one of them, and it was, if I do the dishes, I get flowers. So she created, hers is that she likes gifts and she loves flowers. And so it may be off on this a little bit. It was something like that though. She cleaned the kitchen, did the dishes. She would get flowers weekly by following through with that. So she got something that she looked forward to. And she's like, that is my favorite thing in the world is flowers. So finding what it is that is best for you and most exciting.
And now these are a little different. For example, the love languages and all such, because normally we think it takes 2 people, right? Love languages, you receive, you give, it takes 2 people. Redirecting that energy, that love language to yourself is also going to be a different way to see the perspective of how well you're taking care of yourself, right? Like, no one can get you flowers. You can't give someone flowers right now. I mean, you could, but we want you guys to focus on you. One of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the challenge was the thermometer and thermostat approach, right? So I'm going to share something with you guys really quickly, just so that we won't run out of time. But I want to give you an example, like in very small changes. Paul gave you guys some ideas of how to do that. They can be journaling. You can write them down. There's just so many ways, but everybody's different. And we're in a situation where it requires different measures and it requires different approach. So with the thermometer and thermostat, I'm going to remind you guys what that was about, which I'm pretty sure you guys remember, but just to refresh you, right? A thermometer is going to react to the environment around it. And a thermostat, which sets the standard for the environment to react to it. We want you guys to be a thermostat, okay? And what I mean with that, I'm going to give you an example. You wake up in the morning, and I used to do this. I'd wake up, grab my phone, sit on the toilet for about 15 minutes, a 15-minute long pee, okay? And look at social media, right? And I would be reacting to everything on social media. Whatever I saw, whether it was good or it was bad, I was allowing social media to set the environment for me. So if I saw something that wasn't too, nice on social media, it would set my mood for the rest of the day. So I started to not go on social media early in the morning. I said, I'm going to set a time to just a little break to go through my social media and call it, 30-minute window. That's it. I'm good. So that's one way that I started doing some sort of self-love. One of the love languages is quality time. That's quality time for me. I was spending that time on social media, but it wasn't quality time. All right. So finding ways that you guys can do this in the circumstances that we're in. How do you find these love languages within yourself and for yourself? Another thing, when you're eating, that's something, and this is just coming from me, things that I've changed. Put your darn phone down when you're eating. Put your food in front of you, and I'm going to challenge you guys to set a 12-minute timer. If you're finishing all of your food under 12 minutes, you're not taking the time to enjoy your food. You're making eating a task, something that has to get done because you're already thinking about what else you have to do next. So give yourself that time to enjoy your food, sit down with your children, with your partner, or whatever it is, but really enjoy. Look out the window. I don't know, but enjoy your food. 12 minutes. I bet you most of you will finish your food on way under 12 minutes. Chew a lot. And then phone, going back to it, put it down for a second. Another thing that we talked about with nutrition also was the diet culture, right? I said, guys, forget the diet culture. The tab we're working on, the pillar we're working on right now, nutrition, does not mean diet. We are not selling diet to you. No, we are asking you guys to be aware of your food choices and why you're making them. Social media is one of the biggest sellers of diet culture. You'll see everything on there. Okay, so that's another way for you guys to make that shift. What I did in regards to that is I started unfollowing a lot of these Instagram girls that, you know, you see they pop up. Like, why? Took them off. So all you will see on my social media is funny videos and cats. Another way that I started doing something for myself that I love to do is I start fostering cats. Okay, and yes, it creates more work for me, but it makes me feel so good and it helps me so much with my anxiety. And I feel like I've been so happy these last couple, has it been like 2 weeks maybe? So happy. And that has been a way for me to redirect that energy. And also it has allowed for activities with my son. So now my son, I'm able to teach him about these little animals, caring for them, and we're spending time together. Okay, so there's always ways. You just really have to look in, guys. Don't stop looking out. Look in and really start to feel in for the perspective or the reality and how you're going to make that small change. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and head back to the Google Sheet, and we're going to go ahead and fill out what our small goals are going to be for this week. I'm going to ask you guys one by one, and then I'll go ahead and fill it in like we have done in the past. Let's see. I should be better at this by now, but I'm not, guys. All right. Boom, here we go. And on the topic, if any of you guys need to meet or want to meet for like a 20-minute or 30-minute session, just to talk, to chat, to whatever, please send me an email, reach out to me. I think that's something else that we're also missing, guys, connection. I know we connect on Zoom to work out, but sometimes that one-on-one interaction of actually having dialogue and a conversation is needed. So if that's ever something that you guys need, please feel free to let me know. I mean, if it's with me, maybe it's not with me, maybe it's with someone else in the group. But that's also a really good option for communicating. Gary, are you ready for that challenge? What is going to be your small change for this week when it comes to mental health?
I think I just want to try to get back to a little bit of daily meditation.
Perfect.
I want to say 10 minutes, but I don't want to commit to 10 minutes, but.
Okay, so let's keep it just simple, getting back to meditating.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be every day, Gary. It can be, pick one day. Pick one day where you're like, okay, today I'm going to sit down and meditate for 5. And then you might even find yourself going for 7 minutes. And the next thing you know, you did 15. Boom, one day of the week. Awesome. Joanna?
I'm gonna do journaling in the morning when I get up.
Perfect. Morning journaling. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. Chester, what's for you?
Probably 5 minutes out of the day to do some mindfulness exercise. Breathing techniques, I guess.
Yeah, those are good. That's a good point, Chester. Breathing. Listen, y'all don't notice, but we don't breathe sometimes. Like, we're not breathing. You don't notice it. So another thing that's been happening to me, I'll give you an example, is I've been getting, not so much anymore, I swear to you, since I got the cats, I've been a lot better. But I was having a lot of anxiety attacks while I was eating and while I was driving. So noticing that these were times where I was kind of to myself, trying to like just shut everything off, but I was constantly just like, what is, here we go. And it's very peculiar times for it to happen to me, when I was eating, when I was driving, or when I was trying to go to sleep. So Chester, I think that's a wonderful one, just having, 5 minutes for, mindful, let's see, breathing, mindful meditation, whatever that is for you guys. Anything makes a difference. Tony.
For me, I'm going to practice or experiment with waking and baking. A lot of marijuana in the morning. Totally kidding. So scratch.
No marijuana.
Okay. This marijuana is out of the picture. I'm gonna go for long walks to decompress. I think that tends to help.
Long walks, taking long walks.
And wake.
Perfect. Jansen.
Ready. Okay.
I need more sleep.
More sleep.
I mean, I'm finally getting them, so
Yeah.
that was step
What
one.
time are you going to bed, Jansen, on the average? What time?
Around 11.
Can we compromise on 10:30?
Oh, sure. I'm aiming for 9:30.
Girl. All right, let's see. Jansen, more sleep. 9:30 is gonna, I'll put it here. Once it goes in here, Jansen.
Okay, that's a 10.
Listen, look, I got the 1 on here. I got the 0. It's done. It is written 10:30.
Okay.
No, we said 10. You're right, my bad. 10. Alicia.
I'm gonna do it like goals.
I'm sorry, I missed you. What?
A to-do list, like with goals.
To-do list. Perfect. A to-do list. That's helpful. So you want to do that the night before?
Oh, okay. So like a daily thing. I was just thinking more of like setting some like goals, stuff I want to do, and
For the
then
week? No, I'm asking you. Like your to-do list. Is it going to be for the week? Is it going to be?
short. There'll be some smaller projects, but then long term as well.
Perfect. To-do list. Short and long-term projects. Love it. Dana.
One of the things I used to do that was very effective, and I want to get back to it, is doing a gratitude list every day in the morning.
Yes, Dana.
Yeah, like a
Reach.
10 item list.
Yes, gratitude list. And then you show. I want to hear about. I'm going to ask you about this list next week. I want to hear it. All right, Monica.
So it's very much like Dana, but I also am creating like a to-do list.
Okay.
So I call it a game. So it takes away the significance of a to-do list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm creating daily games, which includes gratitude lists and sharing that with somebody, so I have an accountability partner.
Hey. All right. Daily games, to-do list. Perfect. All right. Lindsay.
I have in the past journaled, and so I want to try to bring that back this week.
Perfect.
So I think for me, it will be journaling before bed at the end of the day.
Perfect. And remember, when you're feeling like a little overwhelmed and you're like, oh, do it once a week. Start small. If doing it every day is becoming a little too much, or just the thought of it gives you like, oh, pick a day and do it one day. Maybe you want to do Friday night, and you can kind of just talk on about how your week went, and then pick up from there. So whichever goals you have, guys, just know, I just don't want you guys to feel like you failed at the end of the week because you didn't do it. Don't be hard on yourself. Remember, it's small goals. If you made it happen, you made it happen. Yay. If not, we still have more time to work on them. But all of you guys have picked very, very attainable goals. very small, but big at the same time. So I have all of you guys down for this week. I'm going to be posting the challenges as we go. And remember, if you have hard time with the check-ins, let me know. In fact, if you can't edit yourself, you can email me your answers. Just tell me my check-in score is this and my challenge answer is this, and I'll fill it in for you if that's an issue that you're having. I know Dana, I think you were having an issue with that. Just you can, the same way you send me an email, just send me your answers and I'll put it in for you. Okay, I don't mind doing that at all. So with that being said, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week and talking.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
I know we have 30 seconds probably. So the reason why Tony Ramirez is in our gym is because of a good friend and one of his best buddies, Francisco Navarro. He is a psychiatrist. He is in Pasadena, and he is a good friend of myself too, and somebody that I admire the heck out of. He worked a lot with me early on with mental health and how to build it. And he's somebody who has offered next week at 2 p.m. to have a call. If you guys have any interest in joining, you can listen in. It'll be on here. But what I'd like is if you have questions that you'd like to ask him as a professional, he is someone who just completed and went to nationals for body physique. Like the man works his tail off, not just on his brain, but in physical capacity also. And he is an inspiration to myself and things. Tony, is there anything you want to add about Francisco quickly?
Yeah, he still owes me money, so I'm gonna go. Just kidding. All those points spot on. He's definitely somebody you guys want to listen to. One of the smartest guys I know, and one of the nicest guys I know. So he's got a lot of value to add. So hope you can join.
What time you said, Paul? Can you repeat the time?
Friday. Yes, Friday at 2 p.m. So it would be a lot on next Friday for you being at 11
well,
a.m.
he got ahead, guys, but that's actually going to be your third challenge. That's the third challenge for the week, actually. So that will be Friday at 2 p.m., which means it'll be after our meeting. Well, an hour, we'll go from 11 to noon, and then we'll have an hour break. And then if you guys, no, a 2-hour break. And if you guys can jump on, that would be awesome. That would be your challenge 3 for this week. All right.
We have a 1:30 call this afternoon hangout for people to join.
Yes, we do.
On that.
So you guys can jump on that one too. It's kind of a recap for the week and we announce stuff. So good job, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. I won't take more of your time. It was great seeing you. I'll see you guys on
workout.
Friday.
Thank you.
Stay in and work out if you haven't yet.
Take care.
Jahi, can you stop the YouTube, please?